Good morning. I'm just going to do a little demo today of using this tool called Time Doctor 2. Now, I'm not an affiliate. There are many tools that are similar to this, so I'm not trying to say this is the best one to go with, but when you're running your own business, it's very easy to get distracted. So, the value of tracking your time comes in when you realize how much time you're spending on different tasks and how much time you're wasting on different things. Okay, so just to jumping in here, they have this program that you install on your computer and it kind of tracks what you're doing. You have the ability to go and add different projects and tasks, and then you can kind of categorize where you're allocating your time. So I set it up according to my lines of work. A couple of them here. I've got my software is Arbon on, so I've got some administration things, development, blah blah blah. All these different things I spend my time on, and I've kind of been developing my list of items here, tasks over a while, and I've got some general work here. I've got some morning check-ins. So when I start my day, I go check off all my social media stats. I check my emails. I do all sorts of stuff. I can kind of categorize that. It's kind of overhead general stuff, and then making these videos here. I got when I'm sitting down figuring out, okay, what am I doing? What am I looking at today or tomorrow, or just checking in some of my prior notes. Then I'll do that, and then I'll skip into my value production here. So that's actually doing the work of filming this and recording this and producing it. So once all that's done, they have a dashboard, and this is a view of my month of September so far. So just kind of, I'll roll all them up, all the categories. So all these kind of projects I've got. I got 135 hours for Arbon on, and 6 hours of general work, 4 hours and 4 hours, and then 60 hours here in this last task. So if I expand this, I can see, well, Tim, that's the person. I spent 17 and almost 18 hours figuring out what I want to do, what I want to say, and then about 42 hours producing. So that's interesting for me to know, because then now I can kind of track that over time and see, am I increasing that or decreasing my breakdown there. And then what I've also got here is for my software. I've broken down, but I've got about 40 hours, but I did a week of development this month, and this tells me I didn't make as much headway as I wanted to on working on some development work. Imagineering is where I'm sitting there figuring out, okay, what's the future look like? Work on my future roadmap, stuff like that. Knowledge-based content is on the knowledge base. I've got a help system where I can put all sorts of details on articles and write-ups on how-tos and stuff like that, and that's what that's all about. And then marketing is figuring out and implementing activities to, I'm either writing up, changing my website design, or I'm working on new campaigns, things like that, and then actually writing content for the website or my newsletters and stuff like that. And a little bit of server time. I had to do some patching and rolled out a new version this week or this month. So anyways, one other thing that's important here is you find a tool for yourself that's going to go through and do a bit of analysis here. Like this one here, what I like about it is it helps you kind of look at some of your inefficiencies. So according to this, and all tools are kind of good and bad in the sense of how well they collect the information. So what this does is it is trying to tell me that I spent about 53 hours idle. So if I had a knowledge worker that's like that I'm expecting them to be ticking and bopping and hands on keyboard doing stuff, this would be a real big problem here, 53 hours. But in my case, I know I'm not wasting time. I'm not being idle. So I know I'm writing stuff down in my journals. And so I sit here and I'll craft notes and I'll work it out on paper, flip back and forth, or I'll be reading a book. Or I printed off a bunch of PDFs this month, and I always sat and read those as part of my marketing time. But this system wouldn't track that, because it'll track to see how often you're using your software and how active you are. Anyways, check out some tools out there. Do a search for, just Google time tracking, and find something that works for you. But the important thing here is a really solid tip is you need to track your time. You need to track the time of your staff, and look for issues, look for themes, and don't get too bogged down in what the specific metrics on the screen say, because sometimes they're not right, in the sense of what's really happening. But what's really helpful is to know where you're spending your time, and that's what's important, because you don't get that time back if you're not investing it wisely. So for me, I'm going to be looking again a little bit more at my reports here on how I've spent spent my time on my projects, and I'm going to say, well, I think maybe I'm going to look at maybe a week view and figure out where am I spending my time, and can I do it better? Can I be a little more efficient in certain areas and get a better handle on a right mix of tasks, so I'm dedicating and making progress in the right areas of my business. So those are some tips. I hope those are helpful for you. But definitely recommend tracking your time. Absolutely, go for it. Do it every time, even if it's. I have my very favorite task here. I think it's under overhead. Farting around. You hit that Facebook. You spend a couple hours farting around. So track it. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just track it.